Welcome to Healing Hype Man. Welcome to my Chiron series. So you're watching this because you have Chiron in Leo. If you're not sure what we're talking about, what that means, take a look at my first video in this series and you'll find who Chiron is, what Chiron in your chart means, and I talk a little bit about the transit that's taking place. Chiron is moving into Aries on December 23rd, and I found these nuggets of knowledge, and I wouldn't be Healing Hype Man if we didn't talk about our wounded healer and what we are asked to heal ourselves from, right? Because we all have the capacity to be a healer, and we all come to this world or have experienced something in childhood or in the wound that can be highlighted or can show an indicator in your chart. So to check out the first video, you can go to Cafe Astrology or astroseek.com to find your wounded healer, your Chiron placement. So I would like for you to keep in mind that I am a self-studying astrologer. I am a self-taught tarot reader and a mental health clinician in training. So all the resources that I use and the information that I gather will be linked down in the description box below in case you decide to look deeper on your own. But I wouldn't be Healing Hype Man if we didn't talk about this, right? And below in the description box, you will also find a description of the house placements, the house details, because you're going to find your sign and you're going to find a house. So if you pair the two, the video that you're going to watch, that you're watching Leo, and your house, it might give you a more insight into what your wounded healer might have been around or what it's asking you to heal yourself from. And then in turn, you can actually be a healer to others by healing thyself. That is what makes someone a healer. Sitting in this, perhaps in this placement, and healing yourself and now sharing that information. That is what makes you a healer. That's what makes you a shaman. That's what makes you a medicine man. Being able to heal yourself from something. And let's see, did I say anything else? I think that is all. Here in my videos, I'm going to give you the description into what your wounded healer in Leo represents. And I'm going to give you a spiritual perspective, and I'm going to give you a clinical perspective, perhaps what you could be working on a clinical perspective. You're working with a therapist, or you want to work on this on your own as well. And if you like what I have to say, you feel free to book a session with me. It can be spiritual, it can be clinical as well. I'm open to talk about all of the things and the resources that I have that you might not have access to. So, Chiron and Leo. Okay. You feel you are not recognized or noticed for your special qualities. Now, in reality, those with Chiron and Leo have a special quality, but they feel like they fade into the rest, right? Which could imply that maybe as a child, you felt like you were different, but you had to blend in with everyone else, or someone told you that you couldn't be different. And actually, really in your childhood, you were probably taught not to take risks, or that risks would lead to danger or would lead to humility or failure, right? Not to take risks. You have to do what I say, go in this direction, because taking risks was a no-no in your life. Perhaps in a past life or when you were a child, perhaps you wanted to be Superman and someone said, no, that's dangerous, you can't do that. And right, an aspect of creativity could have been diminished here as well. You're often pretty talented in many ways, but you don't feel seen. That's the key indicator there. It's like, you have talents, but because you're not being validated for them, or you were told that you're not allowed to be that risque or go in that direction, that you automatically suppress that part of you. And because you don't feel special, you think others, because you internally have told yourself, okay, I'm special, but I can't portray this. You automatically think that other people think that you're not special, so it just like really suppresses you even more. When in actuality, you're more talented than you think. There's a lot of hidden talents that you don't show the world, but because the world said no, or someone gave you the download of a no, then you said no to yourself, that belief system went in, and then now you think other people are all saying no. But deep down inside, you don't feel special. And it really is that you don't feel special, right? So it's like a two-way street with this one. You might have been told you can't take risks, but at the same time, that one time being told is now like embedded in you and you pushed it down even more. So there is an aspect of building your self-esteem here, right? I'm going to get into the clinical perspective as well. During this transit, Aries. Chiron is moving into Aries on the 23rd of December, and I think it's there for about 6 months. There's going to be a lot of like, I want to go after this now. I want to heal this part of me, which is crazy because a lot of people don't want to go after things that brought them pain or things that no one wants to seek the answers as to why they do the things that they do or bring those up. But there is that Aries energy is sparking people to perhaps go down this path or perhaps realize that you have been working hard at this and that you have healed this part of you, or you're in the process of healing, or you're aware of it. And first and foremost, we need to give compassion to your inner child for dealing with that situation. When I think about Chiron, your Chiron placement, it's almost like these are the cards that you will be dealt because it happened at such a young age, or it happened to you in a past life. An example there, like, perhaps you wanted to, be a magician, in the past life. And back then they stoned people for being magicians. And now you feel like, oh, I'm actually spiritual, or I have this capability, or I have this gift, or I have this talent. But in a past life, you came here, you were shunned, you were killed for that. And now, right, you can really dive into your Akashic records. And now you have this like deep seed of like, I can't be creative. For some of you, you might have gotten the download when you were young that you can't take risks and you're not recognized for your special qualities and you're just like everybody else. Give compassion to your inner child for putting up with that or dealing with that situation. You did the best you could with what you knew, and your family did the best they could with what they knew at that time. And now you know. So now it's time for you to take responsibility and move forward, because no one else is going to give that to you. The validation you might want from others from the past might not be enough. And for those of you that seek that, good luck, because it might not be what you expect. So do it for yourself. I'm all about healing hype man here. I'm trying to hype you up because you're not going to get that. I'm sorry. You might never get it. So hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit more tools to your tool belt so you can go and be that magician and that magician that you want to be. And also know at this point in time that you can go beyond your comfort zone. And it's okay to be creative, and it's okay to be special. It's okay to have this special quality, and you can be different in our society. You can be different. There is a time and a place where people will recognize you for who you are. It's just finding your journey is finding those people and finding it for yourself first, and then finding it for others at the same time. And that's the journey. Sometimes it can take a while. Sometimes it can take 30 years, and in 30 you're like, oh, this is what I really want to do. And that is okay. We need to normalize not knowing what we wanted or who we were in our childhood, in our 20s, in our 30s, and stop saying we're late. There's no such thing as late. It's divine timing here. Before I get into a clinical perspective, I'm going to give you the spiritual perspective here. The Strength card and the Star card in reverse, right? Lack of confidence, bravery, can't be brave, there's no bravery here, and your hopes, your wishes, and dreams are in reverse as if they're blocked, as if you were told no. And what we want to do here is we want to turn these right side up. We want to gain that confidence back and that security and that internal fire to go after your wishes and dreams, because all of our wishes and dreams are capable. There is nobody stopping you but yourself. And maybe the system in the United States or wherever system you're in, right? It's the only thing that's really stopping you, but it's not a physical person, but you, blocking you from shining and being authentic, however that might be for you and how you want to show up and being consistent with your authenticity, right? That's a big piece that I'm learning too. It's being consistent with that authenticity and going after your wishes, your hopes, and your dreams, and your biggest star that you possibly could want, because anything and everything is honestly achievable if you actually think it, feel it, talk about it, ask for it, put the effort in moving forward. And know that you can go beyond your comfort zone, and you can always start over, like the Fool, card 0. You can always take what you've learned and jump off that cliff and do everything all over again. The only person that's counting time are probably the other people, but if you just eliminate time and say, this is where I'm going to start, starting to go beyond my comfort zone in a direction that I might not know, but I know it's not the one that I was in. Continue to push forward there. On a clinical perspective here, we want to evaluate your self-esteem. There's also self-esteem screeners as well. We can kind of see like how you feel about yourself, the positivity, the negative self-talk, the positive self-talk that you kind of develop on yourself. We want to develop a consistent and positive self-image of you, right? We want to kind of highlight and validate your uniqueness behind you, and anything that might be brave or daring. You want to color your hair purple? Go ahead. Please be my guest, that you might actually help heal this, because you want to stand out in some sort of way. Just be cautious not to do it for validation, and it's really more for your internal wants, needs, and desires. Right? You want to identify some positive characteristics of yourself. Yeah, because some people really just like there's nothing good about me. You know, that's a whole work in progress. That's like starting at the bottom. But we want to identify some positive characteristics of yourself and use that as fuel to the fire. And we want to establish an inward sense of self-worth and confidence, right? So how we might do that, it would be mirror work, right? We'll sit in front of the mirror and do some positive affirmations in front of the mirror. We can find your hidden talents, because truly those with Chiron and Leo have hidden talents that they have just suppressed, or were told that they can't bring out, or they weren't realistic. And finding those hidden talents and using the positive self-image that we're creating and moving forward, and creating a name, creating a brand, creating an image for you, right? Leo energy is about being the spotlight in the center of the room, right? So when you walk in, people are like, ooh, right? That naturally, but Leos naturally do that, and sometimes they don't even see that they're getting the attention. That's the natural Leo component. It's like they don't even realize that they're gaining the attention. But it's because of who they are, their individuality, and that they are special in many ways. And not coming from an egocentric space, either for validation or for attention. It's just their natural demeanor. Because they truly feel it on the inside. Again, your deep wound is that you actually don't feel it. It was never validated, or it was never like highlighted, or you were just told that you have to be pushed into the rest of the one, right? What's that? Christina Aguilera and Demi Lovato song, Fall in Line. Just like, you don't want to fall in line. You actually want to stand out. And I think that's all I have here. We could look, if you think that if this placement, you tend to be antisocial, we'll look at some antisocial aspects as well, because they tend to not want to go on public scenes because they won't feel recognized. So we can do some antisocial work. Putting yourself out there, trying to understand what it is that you're looking for in social scenes, how to show up authentically in social scenes and stay committed to how you want to show up. That's a work in progress. That's a little bit of change management, motivational interviewing, processing change. Are you ready to step into this, who you really want to be, but also exploring who you really are and who you want to be, and that is the journey, and that's the long part. So I think I talked about all the things here. I'm going to read you a little passage from Young Pablo, Clarity and Connection, that I just find certain ones that resonate with the video that I'm doing, and it tends to resonate pretty well. When in doubt, remember you have the power to say no, the authenticity to be you, the patience to keep learning, the fortitude to continue trying, the courage to embrace change, the fearlessness to give selfishly, the wisdom to cultivate inner peace, the bravery to fulfill your aspirations, the openness that grows friendships, the awareness that flow your intuition, the intelligence to not repeat the past. Young Pablo. So I hope you like this little tidbit that I did here from the information that I gathered and the knowledge, and I feel like it's valuable. Any piece is worth sharing. If you want to dive deeper spiritually or clinically, feel free to book a session with me. Links are in the bio or on the page, wherever you're watching. My name is Alvin Catalan. I am present. I'm done speaking now.